It's one of the great things about Team RWB. We encourage everyone to do a big fitness goal each year, or BFG, we love acronyms. We're the military, and just initials. So we tell everyone, hey, you should announce your BFG like early in the year. And whatever it is for you, it should be something that potentially you could fail at. Like make it a challenge, right?
In my day job, I work at InsideTracker, and we've been running this study with you guys this year where about 50 veterans tested with InsideTracker at the beginning of the year and again after July 4th to look at what's the implication of, or what's the influence of community on health in an objective manner versus just, hey, I feel better. I love community. Talk to me about where the idea came from and how you guys are thinking about health as it relates to community and how both the in-person aspect as well as the virtual component is accounted for.
For the last few years, maybe even before that, the organization has been looking for a way to measure its successes. I mean, intuitively, I think everyone knows that when you get together with a bunch of friends and go for a run, it just seems a little bit easier. You feel like you got a little bit more out of it, even if you're maybe didn't run as fast as maybe you ran your last one by yourself. But I think just that idea of the social connectedness tied to what we were doing as a kind of a fitness community, it made sense. But, we were challenged by some folks and they're like, okay, well, show us show us the money, prove it, right? So we've been trying to do that. And, one of the ways they implemented a self-reported survey, life survey, the enriched life survey that they came up with. It was vetted, and it's scientifically based, but again, it's a self-reporting tool. So again, it was like, okay, that's good, but we need more. And luckily, technology, the health industry, folks like InsideTracker now can provide you with a better understanding of what's going on inside your body if we look at these markers in your blood. And coming out of, it was about a year ago, we had a discussion with a wearables company where we were having this discussion and I was like, hey, is there a way on a wearable to if we track the people over time that are running together, are we seeing that their heart rate's better, that they have a quicker recovery if they did a 10K over and over again with 3 other people as opposed to if they went alone? And they're like, that's an interesting idea. We've never even thought about that. So we started thinking about it there in terms of okay, there's a tool that we might be able to use. And really, it was with the work with InsideTracker being offered to some of the folks in RWB. They're like, hey, there might be something here, actually. So that's when we reached out and we got the idea of hey, we'll take 50 veterans. We'll have them sign up, not current members of Team RWB. We'll explain what we do. We'll show them both our virtual platform that we call our digital garrison that provides our kind of location for all our virtual engagement and community stuff that happens there, which is very much a part of everybody's life. And just show them the things they can participate in, especially the local events, the in-person events that we call our ground ops. Encourage them to pick a big fitness goal and then also open up to them what we call our human performance fitness programming and training, which is Eagle Fit. Get them in some of those challenges, let them know they're there, but just like we would anybody else. So we didn't treat the 50 veterans any different than we would treat any new member, other than we gave them the InsideTracker blood draw. We took their body mass index. They took the enriched life survey that we make, everyone needs to take. That's kind of like your skin in the game to let you give you your first assessment. And then we just said, participate. We didn't call any local leaders and said, hey, Sully's one of these people. Make sure that he does well, because we want to show that, the community-based aspect and this accountability to your physical fitness that friends and neighbors bring to this whole thing is going to make them better in 6 months. Quite frankly, what we're finding getting the data back from InsideTracker is that we had some phenomenal results, some results that, body mass index dropped. We had I think a 17 to 20% increase of self-reported, on the high end of feeling good about yourself on your enriched life survey. And then the blood markers are coming back showing the same thing, which I think some people will be surprised that there was no medication involved, that this was just physical activity. You had your kind of community and social connectedness. So all those chemicals that drive those, your mental and physical kind of health and wellness were engaged over that 6-month period. So we're working on the final results of that. That study will come out, and it's not a full academic study, but I think it's going to show that we can kind of go see it. We are more than just your your big, gigantic veteran running club, we are moving the needle on this idea of holistic health and wellness, which I think a lot of Americans are taking a step back and looking at as we've kind of over medicated ourselves. We maybe wait till too long and we have to get procedures that are absolutely necessary at some point. But if you would have looked left of that and started doing the Couch to 5K program and eventually maybe got into running a 10K and maybe done some physical fitness and hung out with a bunch of friends that are doing the same thing, then maybe you wouldn't have got to the point where you needed all this other help on the other end.
Yeah, it was, essentially what we hoped for with the results of the study. It was kind of like, yeah, this makes sense. Why wouldn't it be successful? But, that's why you have to run the experiment to validate the hypothesis. And it's very cool to see a hypothesis of if you put a bunch of people together who have a desire to improve, that they actually do improve. And if you give them a little push in the right direction and give them some guidance and whatnot, that can move the needle. And so we're in this period of time. It's, the fall of 2024, and so many people are raising the alarm that like the way that we're currently trending is unsustainable. Lifespan is decreasing. People are less active than ever before. And like, we've got to figure out something. So you guys have a group of 200,000 veterans, and the ability to show progress in creating better health outcomes is really powerful. I mean, not to, talk too much about this from a data standpoint, but like the ability to demonstrate progress at scale is ultimately what moves the needle. And what seems to move the needle in this country is saving money and lower spend on healthcare. And the spend on healthcare is astronomical. Like the state of Delaware spends $1.2 billion on diabetes, and that increases by $60 million every single year. And they can't afford that continued progression. And so there's actually a veteran who's in the political system who is trying to create change in the state of Delaware related to health and diabetes risk. And it's really cool to see the way that people are trying to solve this problem that like we have to solve. Otherwise, it's going to be very bad for everyone.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was just at the Association of the United States Army conference this past week ago, and the Army's leaning into it, right? Holistic health and wellness, their H2F, so holistic health and fitness program that they have for every brigade, and they had a doctor from the University of South Carolina who was basically speaking towards like her program and one other one in the nation, where you have medical schools that are now stepping back and going, look, trillions of dollars are being spent on medical procedures and prescription drugs, and 90% of that could be fixed if we could just get people eating the right things. Sleeping is like critical, like getting the right amount of sleep and doing a little bit of movement every single day. You add in the social connectiveness piece and, you start to solve some of the mental health problems people have when they feel isolated. We're ripe to move the needle back the opposite direction through efforts like this. We're hoping to lead it with the veteran community and Team RWB.